it's prickly. All right. Okay. Will you let me do the video? Will you let me do the video after this? Okay. On your mark. I know. Okay. You said. Go get it, babe. Oh, good boy. That's a good boy. He's like, I've got it. I'm going to eat it up. I'm going to tear it up now. It's mine. I'm not bringing it back. It's mine. That good? That's a good boy. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Homestead Heart. Woo. I call myself getting in the sun, but it's still a little chilly outside. He enjoying that stick, too. He's like, I'm going to chew it up. Oh, my goodness. Welcome, y'all. Welcome back to Homestead Heart. And today, you all, I'm still talking. I just finished with another video talking about the new garden area that we are hoping to be able to get prepared this fall and winter so that we'll have a space to grow our corn and the watermelon and whatnot that we want to grow. So I'm excited about that. That is going to be some winter work that has to be done. But in any case, you all, today I wanted to respond to a comment and questions that I receive periodically about solutions for people who are facing, certain issues of limited mobility, right? Or people who are a certain age. And I don't say, again, I will not say elderly because, some people are, I don't know. Some people are in their 70s bench pressing my weight. So, but, I did receive a question, regarding what to do. I'm in my 70s. I want to grow food, but I can't garden the traditional way. I can't bend down. I can't work out in a garden, like, what you may typically see. But I want to grow food. So what can I do? What do you suggest? And, as I thought about it, sometimes you all, we don't want to take things for granted, and sometimes we can just take it for granted that, we're free to kind of move about a certain way and we don't give too much thought to it. But really and truly, there are so many who just can't do things like the way they see others do it. And I respect that and I understand, which is the reason why I wanted to take up this topic. If you are wanting to grow your own food and you are, suffering, from maybe back issues, you can't bend, or maybe, because you're up in age, you just can't do certain things, like you once could, and you still want to grow your own food. You don't want that to stop you, but you just want a solution, right? You just want a solution to that. Now, I'm hoping that I can offer some solutions that you will find helpful. And one of the first solutions that come to mind is an elevated raised bed. See, I'm sitting on a raised bed here, right? But this bed still requires for me to bend down, cross and reach over, because it is 4 feet wide, right? And it's about 10 feet long, but it's on the ground. And not everybody can bend over and work a bed like this. And so you want a solution. What can I do if I can't garden the traditional way? So the first thing I will say is an elevated raised bed. The good thing about most elevated raised beds, they're not going to be this wide. They're not going to be 4 feet wide. Some of them won't be. You know, you may have some that are about 2.5 feet wide or 3 feet wide, you know, even. I think I've seen some about 3 feet wide. I know the one that I saw at Tractor Supply, I think it was about 3 feet wide or 2.5, something like that. But it was elevated, meaning that it sat on legs. The raised bed itself sat on legs and it had support. So once you put the raised bed together, you all, with the legs, it stood about so high. And so from there, if you have the base of it here and then it raises up to about here, this is something you can stand and work. Or if you have a, sometimes you have the carts that kind of help you to have the support you need to be mobile. And then if you get tired, it also serves as a chair, so you can actually sit down on it when you need to. So something like that would actually be a good idea. An elevated raised bed. That way, if you had to sit down and work the bed, you could. Or if you only could stand and work the bed for a few moments, that way you could, right? And another thing would be, you know, tables, to where, like, if you just had a little patio table. What do you want? Okay. If you had a little patio table, then you can use containers on the patio table for your smaller crops, right? Like lettuces and whatnot. You can use smaller containers for those types of things. And then you can use an elevated raised bed for, 1 second, y'all. Come on, little one. Woo. Okay. You can use the elevated raised beds for other types of vegetables, right? They're gonna come right back. They just don't let me be. Here come all of them. They don't let me be. I know. But that's what I would consider for, you know, for the new gardeners, is an not new gardeners, but for those with limited mobility, an elevated raised bed. Now, the one thing that I will say about the elevated raised beds is that I would consider a container when it comes to crops like tomatoes, especially if you are a person with limited mobility. Because if you put a tomato in an elevated raised bed, well, tomatoes can get pretty tall, and you don't want to have to worry about trying to harvest a tomato from a bed that's already this high. And you have some tomatoes that can get 5-6 feet tall, even taller, right? So now I would consider a large container for tomatoes. And that way you still don't really have to bend. You can literally sit and work that from a chair or something like that. You could still literally sit down and work a tomato plant. And then if you could stand for a moment, you could still stand and harvest from it. You know, it'll be easier than putting a plant like that in an elevated raised bed, okay? But there are other things you can put in those raised beds. You can put in onions, and you can put in squash and things of that nature. You can put in eggplant if you like eggplant. You can put in beets and broccoli and all of that, cabbages, you know. And these are all things that can still go inside of larger containers too. You know, these are things that could still go in a larger container. The only thing about dealing with a large container is that you probably would have to have some assistance with, well, even with the elevated raised bed, you may have to have some assistance with getting the raised bed potting mix inside of the beds. You're going to have some assistance with that, but you can still grow in containers or elevated raised beds. And in a nice size container sitting down, it would be easy for you to work that. And you would only need minimum garden tools, just the little hand tools you would be using for the raised bed or the container. You know, that would be the solution that I would give for those who struggle with mobility, back problems, you know. So I would just suggest that. Okay, I hope I answered that. You know, that's the best option that I could come up with, you know, because, you know, when I think about this, I have an aunt who is 96 years old, and I know that she can't stand very long. And so when I think of these ideas, I think about her, because I know that even for her, although she can't stand for a long time, she can sit and do things, right? And I can picture her sitting and working an elevated raised bed. I can picture her sitting in a chair working plants that may be in a pot, and even harvesting. And you know, if you have a patio, you can even put the containers on what are those things called? They have the wheels, the casters on the bottom of them. Gosh, I can't think of the name, but you know what I'm talking about. It has wheels on it, and it allows you to put a planter on top of it so that you can roll it around and move it from place to place easily, right? And so that would be an option. And like I said, when I think about these options, I try to envision my great aunt doing the same thing, and how, because she uses a cane when she walks, you know. And so even though her legs are weak, she can still do things. It's just that she can't stand very long, right? So her arms are just fine. You know, her arms are just fine. It's just that she can't stand for a long time, right? So I can envision her sitting, working containers, or sitting, working an elevated raised bed. But she would have to have assistance with filling those containers up with the potting mix. But after that, she would probably be able to work that on her own with little to no help at all, really and truly, right? Because she can still use her arms. Her arms are still very strong. It's just that she can't stand for very long. So you all, I hope that helped you. I really appreciate that question. I hope I did that question justice, you know, with the answers that I've given. And of course, so many of you can post in the comment section below other options as well, you know, for the elderly, you know, those who are struggling with limited mobility, or may have back issues and all of that, and just can't bend down. And you can have back problems at any age, right? So yeah, but anyway, you all, I just wanted to, hey Ping, oh hey Ronnie, I just wanted to address that question, and I hope it helps. Okay, so y'all, if you haven't done so already, give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that we upload to our channel. And thank you all again for watching Homestead Heart. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Smoking what made his way around. He all the way in the front now.